Howdy everybody. Today we're going to be talking about El Nino. You've probably heard a lot about it on the news already. El Nino is when the water temperatures in the subtropical Pacific are warmer than normal. And we're going to likely have the strongest El Nino since 1997-98 and 2009. And this could have a large impact on the weather in the Rockies and the high plains as we head into fall, winter, and spring. Let's take a look at El Nino in depth and what it could mean for us looking forward. To understand El Nino and how it can impact our weather and climate, we need to take a look at the water temperatures in the Pacific, most notably what we call the subtropical Pacific. Right here, the area between South America and Australia is an area we watch constantly throughout all of the year, as the Pacific Ocean, the largest ocean in the world, really drives a lot of the weather in the western United States. The warmer than normal water temperatures, a classic El Nino signature, are showing up right here from west of South America, west across the Pacific. Throughout the course of the next few months, we're going to see this area continue to get warmer. Also notice the warmer than normal water temperatures up in the Gulf of Alaska and along the west coast. This is one reason why the Pacific Northwest and California has been so hot this summer. When you have warmer than normal water temperatures here, you add more humidity to the air, and the westerly winds moving across the ocean will help push that higher humidity air into the western United States, most notably the desert Southwest, California, and the southern states as we head into the fall, winter, and spring seasons. Another factor coming up into our long-range forecast is the cold water temperatures out in the North Atlantic. This area of cold is a recent development, and this could change and alter the jet stream pattern as we head into the winter season, and could be a factor, along with El Nino here, this upcoming winter season. To help us understand what El Nino may do going forward, we use a variety of weather modeling to take a look at what the Pacific water temperatures may do over the course of the upcoming months. One thing I want you to notice is this line right here. This is the 0 line. Anything that'll be above this line would represent warmer than normal water temperatures in the area of the Pacific where we watch for El Nino. Anything below that line would indicate colder than normal temperatures. As you can see, the variety of models we use all predict that we're going to have an El Nino, and a fairly strong one. Right here, you can see this yellow line. This is the average of all the dynamical models. And if you look down here, you can see that El Nino peaks November, December, and January of this year before the water temperatures begin to cool as we head into spring. So we're going to see the warmest water temperatures in the Pacific peak early to midwinter before tailing off into the spring. And this is where we're going to likely see the bigger impacts, especially along the west coast. But confidence is high based on the modeling and the observed water temperatures in the Pacific that indeed a strong El Nino is coming this season. Now, how does El Nino affect the jet stream and weather patterns as it develops? First of all, one thing we need to point out is that no two El Ninos are alike. Every El Nino is a little bit different, and the end result at the end of the day on how El Nino will impact the United States is a little bit different every year. There's a lot of other variables other than just warm water temperatures in the Pacific that can affect our winter season. But more often than not, this is what you tend to see. You tend to see a stronger southerly jet stream develop in response to those warmer temperatures out here in the subtropical Pacific. This enhanced jet stream does bring more moisture to the southern and central areas of California, and sometimes northern California, the desert Southwest, and the southern plain states. You do tend to see enhanced precipitation here. You do tend to see warmer than normal conditions, especially in the Dakotas, the Pacific Northwest, and perhaps into Western Canada and Alaska. Although this area right here, we're not 100% sure is headed towards a warm winter. We'll talk about that a little bit later. As you can see, this puts Wyoming, Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska right on the boundary between what could be a wetter than normal winter and spring or a warmer, drier than normal one. More often than not, it's the northern Rockies and the Dakotas that get warm and dry during an El Nino, and we see the central and southern Rockies more on the edge, with the southern Rockies tending to do quite well and could get quite wet this season. You do tend to see the biggest enhancement, though, of cool and wet across the southern portions of the United States. This is great news for California. Confidence is growing that while California's drought might not be over by next March or April, they're going to have a much better rain year than they've had in a long time. One good way to understand what could be coming in this year's El Nino is to look at El Ninos in the past. What we've done here is compiled what we call an analog, where we go back and we look at years where there has been a strong El Nino similar to this one, and then we look at temperature and precipitation patterns during the months of December through March to see what kind of patterns have emerged in El Ninos in the past. This gives us a clue to what might happen in the future. First of all, I want you to take a look at what we are representing. We have green and blue. This represents cooler than normal temperatures during the months of December through March during El Ninos of other years. And you can see those years listed on top. Warmer than normal conditions, as we stated earlier, occur in the Dakotas and the northern plains states during that same time of year, with the middle being in that zone that could go either way, where it tends to have more average temperatures when we look at El Ninos in years past. This year could be showing us a similar trend, but that colder than normal pocket of water that we see in the North Atlantic may alter the forecast for these warmer than normal temperatures in the northern plains, and that's something we're going to have to watch as we get closer to fall. Now let's take a look at the precipitation analog. Looking at strong El Ninos in years past, this is what's happened between December and March. Wherever you see green or blue, you see areas of enhanced precipitation during that time frame of December through March. Anywhere you see white, precipitation is averaged near normal. As you can see, we only have an area here in the Ohio Valley and portions of the eastern Corn Belt that tend to be dry those months, as well as up here in the Pacific Northwest. I think this is an area also that could expand into the Dakotas. So the southern plains, including the wheat country of Kansas, extending north into Nebraska, the desert southwest and Florida, and most importantly, California, you can see that in years past, rainfall and snowfall has been enhanced during strong El Nino years. Analogs are a great tool. Looking at the past can really help looking into the future, and it's a good tool to have a good idea of what could be coming this fall, winter, and spring season. We've established that indeed we're going to have a strong El Nino this year, and we've taken a look at what's happened in years past. But what about what could be coming this winter season for the Rockies and the High Plains and western parts of the United States? What we're showing you here is a forecasted precipitation outlook for the 90-day period of December, January, and February, which is really the time when we're expecting El Nino to peak. Anywhere you see green, we're seeing expected chances of above normal precipitation. The darker the green, the heavier the precipitation. Wherever you see a light brown, that means below normal precipitation. White would mean average precipitation. This is produced by the Japanese Meteorological Agency, and they do a really good job at forecasting conditions in the Pacific, which is critical to understanding how our weather will evolve in the western United States. One thing you immediately notice is off the coast of California and along the west coast is this very enhanced area of rainfall. Again, great news for California. If you extend further east out, you see light green shading across Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, the desert southwest, the Four Corners region, and also you see enhanced area of rainfall in the southeast United States, including Florida. And there's that dry pocket possibly developing in the central and eastern Corn Belt and drier conditions in the northern plains. This is a textbook strong El Nino weather pattern that the modeling is seeing. Now, it's very early in the ball game, and you're going to want to stay tuned to DayWeather.com for further updates, as we'll be able to fine-tune the forecast for the Rockies and High Plains as we get closer. But this gives you a general overall outlook on what's coming with this El Nino this season. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll be giving you updates throughout the winter season, so come back and check out DayWeather.com for further updates.